Where did you land?
There.
Hang on. How did you get there? You were here. Oh yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, you're right. Well done, Rory.
I'm
And
in
you
the
get to roll again because you got a 6.
Ooh, 6. Again. I got 6 again.
Oh no, Rory. It's here. You're on that snake. You gotta go down, all the way down. Woo. There we go. All the way down. Hop there. That's right.
I want to win.
I think it's my turn to win.
Ah.
You've won. Aiden's won 1. My turn now. 5.
What?
No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's right. Well done.
This bit's bumpy.
1.
You get to go. 1.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Can you roll the 1, Rory? No, roll it properly. Roll it properly.
I win! Again.
Hello. Good evening. It's quarter past 8 on Monday, the 15th of July. It's been a bit of a funny day today. Rory's got a problem with his hip, and we've been kind of mostly on top of it, but I don't know, maybe the past couple of days he's just been doing too much, so he woke up in the night and he was in a lot of pain. And he's had a couple of nights recently where he's been in pain again, whereas we'd managed to get it so that he wasn't really having Calpol very often, and now we're back to him having Calpol quite frequently. So we kept him off nursery today and I stayed at home with him, so I've been in full stop running mode today, and we've just pottered around. Andrew was at home working, but he can't work when both the children are at home. He usually has Aiden at home with him on a Monday, but both children is too much, so I stayed home so that I could give the boys some time, and it was really nice. We played some board games. For his birthday, Aiden got a game called Found It for when you're indoors by Skillmatics, and it's like a scavenger hunt inside. You just pull a card out and it'll say find me something that's your favourite colour, and then they have to go and find something. But there's also things like find something that starts with the same letter as biscuit, and then they have to go and find something that starts with but. So there's also that sort of learning part of it as well. So that was quite fun. They both really enjoyed that, although they had that one's too easy, when what they meant was, I don't know what you're asking me to do, so I'm just going to say that's too easy and tell you to pick another card. But we got there in the end, and then we played a couple of games of Snakes and Ladders, which I'll pop a bit of footage in for. Rory won twice, Aiden won once, so they were both happy. Yeah, so it's been that kind of day. We found a frog in the garden that Florence was our cat was playing with a bit, and we tried to build it a little refuge with an old bowl, and Aiden made some Lego. If I have got a nice enough picture of it, I'll put it in here so you can see what we made, and we just covered it over so that the frog could hopefully recover. But I was just checking to see if it was doing it, doing its little play dead trick, but no, it's actually gone. So I think it must have just been a bit too stressed. I did also, because I found it while I was like clearing the garden, and I thought it was dead when I found it, so I was trying to like get it onto the dustpan and brush. So, and then I was like, I can't get this on, and I was like, okay, fine, I'll leave it and I'll sort it later. And then like saw that it sort of moved, and I was like, oh my god, it's just playing dead. But yeah, I think it must have just gotten stressed. Yeah, this is a problem with having cats as well as a little pond. We've got just a little pond, and sadly Florence has learnt that the pond contains frogs. So I'm going to maybe go to the garden centre this weekend, get some terracotta pots and clear a bit of space up by the pond, because at the moment it's gone very wild and we've got lots of like wildflowers and grasses and things up there. But maybe just clear a bit more space and create a couple more shelters for the froggies so that they can hide. So yeah, we've got a frog house back there, but there is only one, so I guess I don't know how territorial frogs are. Maybe they don't want to share their house. So yeah, I need to do that. Some terracotta pots and maybe a few more frog houses and spread them around the garden so that it's not just right by the pond. Because I don't know, I mean this frog that we found was like right like close to the house. The garden's not huge, but it was close to the house, so it might be that they come. But I mean, when we first, I think it was sort of this time last year, I don't think it was the year before, I think it was this time last year, and we had a frog in the garden, and even though nobody around here as far as I'm aware has a pond, so clearly they, you know, live in places that's not wet. Anyway, what I'd actually come in to do was to talk about audiobooks. I thought, given that it was a bit of a funny day and I didn't really want to be recording while we were like having a family day, it didn't feel right to be recording at any points really, so I thought I'd just come in and do my audiobook collection. Just going to talk about the ones, I'm going to go through and I'm going to scroll through ones that I've finished and see if any particularly jump out as books that I really enjoyed listening to. And then let's see. And then after I've talked about ones I've really enjoyed listening to, I'll talk about the ones that I have not yet listened to. Let me see. I'm going to see, like, some of these I've read with my eyes. I'll say whether or not I enjoyed also reading them with my ears. I listened to Jane Eyre. It's been a while, a couple of years since I listened to that. Can I see my stats on that? No, I don't think so. It's been a few years since I listened to that. I'm quite tempted to read it again. I might do that. I might read it with my eyes next time. I think I seem to remember enjoying that. I started reading it with my eyes and just sort of fell out of love with it, and then picked it up on audio and enjoyed it. I listened to the Dream Thieves. I can't remember what is it. The Raven Boys trilogy by Maggie Stiefvater. I really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed that actually. Might listen to that one again as well. Oh, it's the Raven Boys. That's cool. Yeah, that's what I said, isn't it? The Raven Boys. Yeah. I listened to. Metro 2033. Sorry. Let me start again. I listened to Metro 2033 by Dmitry Gulkovsky. Glukowski. Oh my goodness, if you like scary things and you have not listened to Metro 2033, do it. I think I've mentioned this, you've probably not seen because it's probably on videos that are now private because they're old and embarrassing. You probably haven't heard me talk about it, but oh my god, such a great book. I did it, me and some friends used to have a little book club, and I listened to it. They all read it, and I mean Andrew read it and he said that was creepy enough, but I listened to it and oh my goodness, like, oh, it gave me goosebumps, and even just thinking about it just like makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. Oh my goodness, I really want to listen to that again as well. So good. What else? Oh, I listened to The Looking Glass Wars, and this is a Alice in Wonderland retelling. So Ali, you might, if you are watching this video, you might like this one. I enjoyed it. If I remember correctly, it has been quite a long time since I listened to it. I was enjoying it, and then I kind of lost a bit of interest in the middle, and then I really enjoyed it at the end. So I think it is worth looking. I think it's worth. I'm just looking because I was like, oh no, is that the second one? But it's not. Yeah, it's only 8 hours, or nearly 9 hours. I think it is worth listening to. By Frank Bedore. Yeah. Oh, it looks like it's not. It might not be available anymore. Sorry to give you that one. But have a look for it. The very first book that I listened to when I got Audible was I Captured the Castle by Dodie Smith. I loved that. I loved that book. It's I think it's a classic. I don't know if it's old enough to be considered a classic, but I think it's a classic. But I loved that book. I could listen to that again as well. And then I listened to something called The Shell Seekers, which took me quite a long time to listen to, but I really enjoyed that as well. I think that's like a World War II, set around World War II, but it might be a little bit of like going back and forth, if I'm thinking of the right book, on timelines. Yeah. So that was good too. Okay. Books not started. Let me just see what's in progress. See if there's anything there that... Okay, no, not started. So let's go right back to the oldest book in my library. I'm going to read out just the names of them, and then if any of them are like I said in yesterday's video, a lot of these books I get like a two for one deal, and so sometimes I just get anything for the second book, or sometimes because they think you can only roll over 3 credits. So if there's been times when I've had 3 credits, I'm about to get another credit, then I'll just get something that I'm like, oh, I might read that at some point. So I've got The Magician's Guild by Trudy Canavan. I think that's something that I liked the sound of, but never read. Anna Karenina. I can't pronounce it. Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. That's something I think a friend of mine was like, get this because it's like 38 hours and it's like so much like time listening to it for your money. I'm now like, no, I'm not that bothered about reading it. A Doctor Who book, Doctor Who and the Abominable Snowman. I think I got that one for free. Got Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. I started listening to that one, and the person who was reading it sounded a little bit like my dad. Like not really very much like my dad, but enough like my dad that it was weird listening to him reading Game of Thrones, so I stopped that one. The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. Great North Road by Peter F. Hamilton. That's something, those two are both books I think that that friends of mine really liked, friends that I did my book club with, my sci-fi book club with. And so I got those, but we never did those two because they're quite long, so we didn't read those. The Secrets of Crickley Hall by James Herbert. Foundation by Isaac Asimov. I might have read that actually, but I might have read it with my eyes, not with my ears. Dr. Sleep by Stephen King, which I believe is the sequel to The Shining. Not read The Shining, have seen the film. Oh, is it a prequel? It's related to Dr. Sleep. I think it's... Let's see, shall we? Yeah, it's a prequel. No, sorry. It's a sequel. Comes after. Not read that yet, but I think I would like to read The Shining if I was going to go on and read Dr. Sleep, because even though I've seen the film, obviously it's going to be different. The book's going to be different, right? Although the idea of reading the book always makes me think of Friends. I'm pretty sure that Rachel... Does Rachel give Joey The Shining to read? And he gets too scared, so he puts it in the freezer. I think that's the way around it is. Maybe he gives her The Shining. I don't know, anyway. The next one, The Kiss of Deception, Alien River of Pain. I think that was another one I got for free. The Dark Tower 1, The Gunslinger, Stephen King. My mum enjoyed it, so I picked that up. Red Rising by Pierce Brown. Heard really great things about that. Again, never listened to it. Lord of Shadows by Cassandra Clare. I think that's the sequel to something. Or maybe that's the first one. I'm not sure, but I was really into Cassandra Clare for a little while. And I met her at a book launch for Lady of Darkness or something, which I think is the one before Lord of Shadows. Anyway, but I never listened to this one, and I don't know if I ever actually finished The Lady of Darkness, whatever it's called. Scythe by Neil Schusterman. That was one that was like doing the rounds on BookTube for a while, many moons ago. Again, haven't read it. An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. Another one that was very popular on BookTube with people that I really enjoyed watching. And one of my favourite BookTubers was, and still is, Thoughts on Tomes, Sam from Thoughts on Tomes. And those were some that she enjoyed and talked about a lot. And I also liked Catty Tastic. I don't think she makes videos anymore, which is a shame, but she was another favourite of mine. Okay, what next? The Dunwich Horror, H.P. Lovecraft. I should really just listen to that because it's like 2 hours long. So that would be super easy. Two Towers by Tolkien. I listened to Lord of the Rings and listened to The Hobbit. Who is it read by? Whoever it is read by does a really good job. Rob Inglis, yeah, he's really good at reading that one. So, yeah, I was just watching what Victoria read, her mid-year madness, whatever it's called, and she has read Tolkien this year, and it's kind of like made me think, oh, because she said that basically what she did was she just read a chapter a day, and I was like, maybe that's a really good way of doing it, because I do find them really hard to read, but maybe I just read them slowly. Perhaps. I mean, they're only 16 hours to listen to. Well, that one is. 2 hours is only 16 hours to listen to. Anyway, right, next is The Rhythmicist. Is that how you say it? Rhythmatist by Brandon Sanderson. Again, Brandon Sanderson, very popular with some of my favourite booktubers from my past. And I read a couple of his books. Ooh, I want to say The Well of Ascension, but I don't know if that's correct. Is that the one? Anyway, a really nice cover on those books. And it took me a really long time to read that first one. And then I think I was like, I'm just going to take a break from Brandon Sanderson, and then a break never ended. Hyperion by Dan Simmons. That was one that we got for our book club. And I think there's something about wolves. Is Hyperion the ones with the wolf people? Not wolf people, like the wolf race. Hyperion. Is that the one that's got like where like really early on they meet, like the main character meets like a wolf race?
No.
No?
That's A Fire Upon the Deep.
Oh, okay. Maybe I never started Hyperion then.
Sorry?
Did I read Hyperion? No, I don't think I did.
So Hyperion is the one that's sort of based on.
Don't you'll mess my. I have to sit in the dark because the lighting's fine. Hyperion's the one that's.
Are you recording now?
I am, yeah.
Okay, Hyperion is the one that's sort of based on Canterbury Tales. Canterbury Tales.
Okay.
It's the Shrike. The travellers are all going to. The planet's called Hyperion, and they're all going to the Temple of the Shrike for various reasons, and they each tell a story each chapter about why they're going and why it's important to them.
Actually sounds quite good.
It's very good.
Yeah, you enjoyed it.
One of my favourite books.
Okay.
But A Fire Upon the Deep is the...
Who wrote that one?
Vernon Vinge, back to...
Oh, yeah.
Vernon Vinge.
Vernon, yeah.
Finger. Do I mean... Yes, you mean A Fire Upon the Deep, because he also wrote Deepness in the Sky, which is also a very good book. But A Fire Upon the Deep is this AI mind ends up on a... It's trying to like flee a bit of the universe where higher entity minds can exist, and it ends up on the ship that's trying to go and rescue some children who've been stranded on this slightly more backward seeming planet with the wolf-like creatures.
I feel like it was one of those books that I sort of was reading it and I was just like, what is going on?
I think it's a good book. I think it's The Deepness in the Sky. I think it's better.
Right. I think because I'm probably somewhere dyslexic adjacent, if not dyslexic, sometimes it's just, if there's too much, because I find that with Tolkien, because there's so much in it, so much description and things like that, sometimes it just get really confused about whether it's like the story is being progressed or whether they're just like setting the scene for 6 pages.
Hyperion's really good.
Okay, Hyperion, I might try that. One.
Fall of Hyperion is also very good. Endymion and Rise of Endymion, I could never quite figure out.
All right, now you're just showing off at the blog.
They're a series.
Yeah, I know, but just like you're like, oh, here are the titles of all of these books that I've read.
True. You're trying much harder than doing that.
Anyway, thanks,
I
Andrew.
think you like Left Hand of Darkness.
That's Ursula Le Guin, isn't it? Did I start that one? Is that the one with the genderless?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I'll read that one. It's not very long, is it? Normal novel length. Yeah, it's not like... I feel like Hyperion was quite a long book. And what was it? There was another one we started. Maybe it was Left Hand of Darkness actually that I was
I
like...
don't think we did Left Hand of Darkness in book club, if that's what you're... The Dispossessed was the Le Guin
Oh yeah.
we did.
Yeah.
Also one of my favourite books.
Anyway. Next is Rick Riordan.
in this next episode of Books with Andrew.
The next one is Rick Riordan, which is like middle grade. Not read that one, but I did enjoy the Percy Jackson books. And then The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. I had so many people recommend this book to me. I really need to read it. It's only 15 hours. I've got to listen to that, right? What do you want to say?
I want to say, if it's not the Silmarillion, it's not worth reading. I've read that a handful of times.
Speaking of Tolkien, The Return of the King. Obviously need to read 2 towers before I can read that one. Then I've got Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor. Laini Taylor is going to remain one of my favourite authors for all time. I really loved Daughter of Smoke and Bone, that trilogy. And I read Strange the Dreamer, which is the first book in this series with Muse of Nightmares. Really enjoyed that. Oh no, now my phone thinks I'm talking to her. But yeah, I never read Muse of Nightmares, so I need to listen to that one. But I think I might have to reread Strange the Dreamer. Maybe not. I think I can remember what was going on. So yeah. Illuminae, is that how it's pronounced? By Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. Another one that was doing the rounds on BookTube. Very, very popular. And then I've got a couple of Sarah J Maas books. Court of Thorns and Roses, Queen of Shadows, Kingdom of Ash. I've listened to all of those. Oh no, sorry, I've read all of those. I just haven't listened to them. But I enjoy listening to some of my favourite books over again. I've got German Harry Potter, as I was learning German at some point, and so I decided to listen to Harry Potter. Court of Wings and Ruin, Sarah J Maas, Emperor of the Storm, also by Sarah J Maas, and then Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. We had a physical copy of this book. We might still have a physical copy of this book. Andrew read it, said it was good, fine. Not as good as The Martian, if I remember correctly. I think I was like, oh yeah, maybe I'll read that because I really enjoyed The Martian. So I got it with a credit and I haven't listened to it, so. I've got The Novice by Taran Matharu. Don't know what that is. Just picked that up, I guess. Siege and Storm, Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo, which is the Grisha trilogy. The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I went on a bit of a Samantha Shannon kick because I was really wanting to read Priory of the Orange Grove, or whatever it's called, Priory of the Orange Tree. But it was just too much. I think it was just too much for me. Another sort of like Tolkien-esque book where there was just lots going on, and yeah, I tried reading it on my Kindle. I think I got a physical copy out of the library and tried reading it physical copy. I tried to listen to it. Yeah, so The Bone Season, maybe that's, let's see what that one's about. I literally just got this because I was like, people are talking about it, I want to check it. Yeah, maybe I'll listen to that one. And where are we? More Sarah J Maas, Tower of Dawn, which I haven't actually read or listened to, so I should put that one high on my priority list as well. Queen of Air and Darkness by Cassandra Clare. I think that's another one in the Lady of Darkness trilogy, so I think I must have just thought, oh, you know, the completionist in me said I need to get that one. Then I've got Twin Crowns by Catherine Webber and Catherine Doyle. Gets 4.4 stars. I think I just picked it up because I must have thought it sounded good at some point. Storm and Fury by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I've got a physical copy of that as well. 6 stories by Matt Weslowski. Oh. I feel like we're getting into the point where I'm vaguely remembering getting some of these. Oh, this is like a sort of, it looks like it goes backwards and forwards in time, like something's happened, like a body of a teenager's been found, and then it's like 10 years later, 20 years later, and they're like revisiting the case sort of thing. It's got a full cast of narration using 17 different voices. I don't usually like a full cast, I have to say, but or at least I didn't used to. Particularly don't like it when there's, I think if it's okay if each character has their own voice. What I don't like is when you have a couple of narrators reading different chapters, and so you end up with one character having like 3 or 4 different voices because of the different narrators. I think it was whatever the last of the Divergent series was. What was that called? Insurgents? I'm not sure. And it was dual perspective, and yeah, so when he was the focus character, he did his voice and her voice, and then when it was her perspective, I can't remember what she's called. Anyway, you know what I mean. And because the first 2-3 books was just one narrator, everybody had their, I know he's called Tobias, wasn't he? The female narrator was doing the voice for the male character, the male main character, who I think was called Tobias. But then in the final book, there were 2 narrators. Yeah, I didn't like that. Gemini by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. It's one of the later ones of the Illuminae, or whatever it was called. Rage and Ruin by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Ordinary Monsters by J.M. Myro. The Inheritance Game by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kimera. Another one that I've heard really good things about that I need to read. I think I also have a physical copy of that as well. Shatter Me by Tahir Mafi. I read, what's it called? It's to do with weaving, and I can't remember what it's called. I'm going to put a picture of it here. By Tahir Mafi, and I really, really enjoyed it. I wonder if the second one's out. It must be. I must check that, because I really enjoyed that one. Nice Girls Don't Have Fangs by Molly Harper. Cinderella is Dead by Kaylin Byron. Another one that I heard good things about. King of Scars by Lee Bardugo. The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni. Jurassic Park. Page Boy by Elliot Page. The Island of Sea Women by Lisa C. My battery's about to run out, so I'm just going to switch that and then I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. It's probably not quite the same angle as it was. We were at Island of Sea Women by Lisa C. And then the next one is How Beautiful We Were by Imbolo Mbui. I'm probably pronouncing that entirely wrong, and I apologise. I think I've heard of this one, and that's why I picked it up. I don't think this was one that I just picked up, but I don't remember where I heard of it. It's 4.6 stars on Audible, so what next? We've got Midsummer Mysteries by Agatha Christie and John Joan by Agatha Christie and Joan Hickson. Friend Request by Laura Marshall. I think we're getting into a bit of an area of like, I just had some credits that I needed to use. Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Ngan. That's another one that I feel like I heard someone talking about. I wonder whether that was Sam from Thoughts on Tomes that talked about that one. And then I've got Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I got Your Child Is Not Broken by Heidi Marvier, which is, I think, about autism or ADHD. Parent your neurodivergent child without losing your marbles. So, I've not read that. Might be worth giving it a read. Feel like the marbles are disappearing fast sometimes. Loveless by Alice Oseman, who is the author of the Heartstopper series, and I read one of her books, I believe, called Radio Silence, and at the time I didn't enjoy it, and I feel like I'm the only person that didn't enjoy it, so I think I need to give that a reread because I think I must have missed something. Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I've heard that is quite heavy going. I think there's 2 books in that series and I think it's quite a heavy going series, so I'm going to wait on that one. Then I've got The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula Le Guin, read by George Giddle. Andrew thinks I need to look out for the Radio 4, BBC Radio 4 adaptation with a full cast. I need to see if I can find that one. The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. Another one that I've heard good things about. Who did I see had read that one? I can't remember. Unless it was a like real life friend who read it. Gosh. That can't be right. House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J Maas, and House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J Maas, which is the like newer of her books, I think. Which I haven't read any of, but I really want to. They're just really daunting because of the size of them. Magic by Angie Sage. This is one that I heard was a really good Harry Potter alternative. I would really like to read that, see if I think it will be suitable for Aidan, who is really keen to read Harry Potter, we've had discussions at home about J.K. Rowling and things like that, and he is very understanding of that situation. But we have the books, and I, at the moment, would probably have no issue reading them to him because we have them. But he knows that we're not going to buy anything new that's Harry Potter branded. But if we can find an alternative to Harry Potter that's going to satisfy that kind of like magic craving that he's got, that would be even better. I've got the complete Earthsea series and the Left Hand of Darkness all in one, and that is a full cast including Toby Jones. So there we go, that's the BBC one that Andrew thought I should listen to, so perfect. And amazingly, that can't be right because that's only 7 hours. It must be abridged, which would be a shame. It would be a shame if it were abridged, but it probably is. Let me just see the reviews. It gets 3.9. Abridged. That's a shame. It says, this person said, I felt it was abridged to the point of being little more than a summary of a good story. That's disappointing, isn't it? I need to read reviews before I buy these books. I've got What If It's Us by, I think that's Becky Albertilli and Adam Silvera. My apologies, Adam. She Gets the Girl. Can't see the name of the authors. Oh, Alison, Derek and Rachel Lippincott. Something in here is making a noise. Have you ever heard Rory's hearing aid make a noise when it's out of battery?
No.
I feel like I can hear something going boop 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 boop. I'm just going to put that there and see if it does it again. It's getting very dark now. Lady of Darkness by Melissa Rorick. Oh, so maybe the Cassandra Clare book isn't called Lady of Darkness. Anyway. And then None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell, which is my most recent purchase, and I got that one on the recommendation of Ali from Little Drops of Wonderful. I have a physical copy of the book and I was starting to read it and enjoying it. Is that Aiden puttering? Wasn't Rory falling out of bed, was it? Yeah, I was enjoying reading the physical copy of it, but then I heard Ali say that there's something about listening to it because it's about these two women who meet. One of the women has a podcast and the other woman is sort of like, oh, you should talk to me on your podcast because I'm at this like point in my life where things are about to start changing. And so I think, yeah, it sounds like reading it would give it, or listening to it would give it that kind of like next level of enjoyment. So so I think that's probably going to be my next book once I finish Catherine of Aragon, because I think I'll probably want a little bit of a break from Tudor times. And then I've just got a credit. I'm going to get the second book in the series, Anne Boleyn. I'm going to get that so that I've got it. And that's like, will encourage me to carry on reading it. So there we go. Those are all of the books that I have not listened to yet on Audible. If there's anything there that caught your fancy and you fancy doing a like listen along, then let me know down below and and maybe we can sort something out. And if you have any recommendations for audiobooks or physical books that you've enjoyed, or if you have heard me mention any books here and you're like, do not waste your time reading that book, please also let me know. Talk books to me in the comments down below. That's it for this evening. I am going to go and, what time is it? 9 o'clock. I'm going to go and have a Coke Zero, and I might actually do a little bit of reading. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!